Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for the press conference reaction, the final press conference reaction of the season, of course, for the Premier League. Eddie has been speaking to the media ahead of what is a very big game still on Sunday, of course, when we take on Brentford at the Community Stadium. Now, there is a bit of news going on with Sky as well. They're claiming that there is something going on with Aaron Ramsdale, but look, we'll cover that later on. Today is all about, obviously, the press conference and what Eddie has had to say ahead of the game. Interesting thoughts from the manager. Also, very little commented about Callum Wilson, but we'll come on to all that as well. But if you do enjoy the show today, please do give it the thumbs up as usual, guys. And of course, if you're new and like what you see, why not subscribe? Come and be part of this amazing community right here on the Toon Review by hitting that subscribe button. Free to do so. And don't forget to hit the bell, which will tell you when we upload any videos or we schedule in the lives. Become a member if you do so wish. We've got a brilliant membership club. Everybody is supporting the channel that way. It's fantastic to have so many members. And of course, you can donate to the channel by Super Chat if you do so wish, with that $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And of course, gets you guaranteed to have your comment read out on the show. Now, look, there's a lot of people already talking about Ramsdale, and it's an interesting one. I'll give you my thoughts on that, of course, after we've covered the press conference, but we'll dive straight in, guys. And this is immediately what Eddie had to say ahead of the Brentford game. It's a big last day for us. There's no denying that. We go into the game knowing we have to do our part, which is try and win the game. Then we're in the hands of other clubs. The players are determined to finish on a high. Well, I bloody hope they are, Eddie. I really do. After the last two performances, I guess they owe the fans, certainly the travelling fans, a little bit going into this game, because there's still a lot at stake here, isn't there? There's still a lot to play for. You know, we know that last games of the season tend to be dead rubbers. However, this one isn't. There's still a lot to play for. I really do believe there is. And, you know, I can only hope that the players are fired up. Because certainly we need them to be fired up, because Brentford, look, as I've said before, you know, and I'll say again in the preview tonight, they are going to finish the season on a high. They're at home. They want to do it for the manager because of his, I guess, personal reasons with one of his family passing away and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on at Brentford. Players are playing for the futures at the club, etc. So it's not just going to be Newcastle turning up and just, oh, we'll win the game, no problem. It's not going to be like that. And to be honest, I'm pretty much sick of doing that now, because we predicted we'd beat Brighton, we predicted we'd beat Man United, and we haven't turned up. So, you know, that is a little bit of a worrying sign. Our away form has been nothing short of atrocious all season. Let's have a look. He's a snowflake crying a lot, not Newcastle mentality. I guess he's talking about Ramsdale. I think Wilson already had his last game, to be honest, despite what Eddie said. It will be a bland away performance again, says Cruel to be kind. Afternoon, Mick. Hope you're well. Tom says, would you play Pope on Sunday or Dubravka? Tom, if you've been watching the shows, matey, 100% Nick Pope. Definitely not Dubravka. Definitely not. I'm done with him. And, you know, I know Stato's done with him as well. I am done with Martin Dubravka. I want to see Pope in goal. It's a big game for us on Sunday. And to give us the best chance of winning, we need our best goalkeeper there as well. And that is, without a doubt, Nick Pope. Undoubtedly. Would be great to finish above Man United despite this yo-yo season. Glad it's still in our hands, to be honest. Some of the lads need to step up and effing perform. Yeah, you can't disagree with that. Edward Gorm, thank you very much for your super chat. I'm struggling for words after Wednesday, but wanted to show the usual support for TTR. Thank you, buddy. Anthony says, has to be Pope on Sunday. I'll be hugely disappointed if he doesn't start. Tangy says, the question from the journalist should have been, why didn't Joe Linton start against Man United? Well, look, how many times have we discussed this on press conference reactions or through the rest of the shows that we do? Why is Eddie not questioned on the stuff that the fans really, really want to know? You know, this thing about Joe Linton not starting the game, Eddie should have been asked that. What is his reasons behind not playing him? because he brings him on for 2 cameos in the games before, and we all think, yeah, he's getting some minutes under his belt. He's ready to go. Why didn't he start him? And then if he tires out, then take him off. Give us our best chance of winning the game by putting our better players on the pitch. It's simple as that. If it was mid-season and, he was worried about the rest of the season, fine. But there was 2 games left, and now there's only 1. So I was disappointed not to see Joe Linton. And again, I'm disappointed that he wasn't questioned on it. But this has happened all season. When we as fans, we kind of ask and keep going on about, ask the proper questions to these people, to Eddie. And they don't. Tristan says, I don't think we will turn up. Last season, we did the same at the end of the season, 2 draws and lost 3rd position. Keith says, this is a must-win game. Yes, it is. Did Eddie say anything on Pope? Well, we'll come on to it. I haven't really checked it through the comments yet. I'm just going through them as I'm talking to you. So I've been out this morning, and as soon as I got home, I had to schedule the show. So I haven't really seen a lot of what he's had to say. I've skipped over it, but I'm going through it in more detail as I speak to you guys. Now, this is the big one for me, because basically he was asked about Callum Wilson, right? And this was his response. We anticipate he will be fit for Sunday. That is it. Nothing else. Now, if that's not as bland as you want to hear about somebody that's been out injured, then look, giving an answer like that is only going to maybe get the scaremongers going again, saying, "Oh, he's fallen out with Callum Wilson. He's done with Wilson. Wilson's on his way." We don't know that for certain, but to be honest, I think something is going on. If I'm brutally honest, I think Callum. I don't know. Has he took the huff because of what happened in January? Has he really got over that? Not getting his move. I don't know. And does he feel like that move won't be available for him in the summer, and he's lost out on an opportunity to go, to Atletico Madrid or somewhere like that? And he's basically weighing up his options. Has he fallen out with Eddie Howe? It's just a very strange answer for Eddie to give, just straight off the belt. A one-sentence answer saying, we think he'll be fit for Sunday. All right, is he fit for Sunday? But does that mean he's going to take any part in the squad? Is he going to be in the team? Is he going to be on the subs bench? We don't know. I'm not so sure on Callum Wilson at all. I don't know. But the thing is, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on that probably we're not privy to. Let's be fair. Chipper says, don't know if I can trust Howe if he plays the likes of Doobs on Sunday when he has no excuses for Pope not being fit. Anthony says, finish the season with the players who have a future at the club. I agree. Let's put our strongest side out possible, and let's really go for this. Don't be pouncing around playing your favourite players. Play the players that are going to do a job for Newcastle United on Sunday and win the game and win it well. Spike says, how can Eddie say we played okay? No, some players have mostly just turned up, might have just turned up. Well, look, I'll come on to that because, I have read that and I'm pretty baffled by it, if I'm openly honest. Referee for Sunday is Simon Hooper, and on VAR is Paul Tini. Oh, great. Absolutely fantastic. The Blubber King says Brentford away will be tough, but if we win, let's hope Ariola's Cherries do us a favour. Now, that's a good manager. Yeah. Tristan says, so Paul, I take it Ramsdale will be our new first choice keeper then. We won't spend that much money and sit him on the bench. I don't even know if it's true, Tristan, to be honest. This is a Sky Sports reporter who's just basically said that he's heard from sources which we are led to believe are a couple of players who say that Ramsdale is Newcastle bound. The best thing we can do, Tristan, is just wait and see what happens in the summer. It's going to be a busy summer for Newcastle. Let's be openly honest here. It will be a busy summer. But whether it's busy without goings or, we don't know yet. Ramsdale is a strange one for me. I'm not sure he's as good as Nick Pope, to be fair. But obviously, they'll have scouted him. They'll have watched him numerous times. Mason says he would take Ramsdale, but he's better than Dubravka. 100% better than Dubravka, yes. But for that kind of money, as Tristan's just said, it's a lot of money to pay for a goalkeeper if he's not going to be number one. You know, we only paid, what was it, £10 million for Nick Pope. So if we're going to spend, you know, more than double that to bring in Ramsdale, then you would expect that Ramsdale is going to be the number one. Richard said Joe Linton is not in form. Need to work with him slowly. Well, I think he played well on Wednesday when he came on. If you watched what he did, you know, crunching tackles, getting stuck in, giving Bruno a bit of protection, and that's what Joe Linton does. He gives that option. He gives Joe Linton Bruno that protection, so Bruno can play more of his game. But earlier with Anderson and Longstaff, there was no protection for him at all. It was terrible. I'd bring Mike Hooper out of retirement to replace Dubravka. That's how bad it's become. Oh dear God! I mean that is yeah. Let's skip over that one, shall we? Mike Hooper, dear me. Claire says, watched True Geordie vid earlier. He's not wrong. Sometimes I think he's a bit harsh, but not at the moment. Well, Brian's very opinionated, and we're hoping to get him on the channel in the summer, actually. I've spoken to Brian a couple of weeks ago. He sent a lovely message on Twitter saying how well the channel had done, and he really thought the commentaries were excellent and stuff like that. So he reached out, and because, you know, I used to send my videos to Brian when I first started, and he used to help me a lot. Quite a few years ago now, obviously, but you know, Brian's had his ups and downs in life, as we all have. But I think he's a top lad. He is a top lad, and yeah, he's harsh sometimes. I guess similar to me. I mean, you know, some people have criticised me sometimes when I've been on my rant, saying, "Oh, you're a wannabe True Geordie." It's nothing like that. You know, I give my honest opinions, and if it's a rant, it's a rant. You know, I'm not trying to be anybody else, as Brian's not. You know, it's just opinions. And sometimes, yes, everyone can be harsh when they're sort of talking about the football team. It's raw emotion. And, you know, I got the video I did yesterday. I was going through the comments just before I came on live, and somebody had put that I should give all my members and etc. the money back, because all I do is I rant, and I rant for clickbait and stuff like that, and just for clicks and likes. Anyone that knows me and has watched this channel now for quite a length of time will know that that's not the case. Will know that we do this for the love of doing it, and our members are fantastic because they want to help the channel and keep the channel growing. And people like that are just bitter and twisted. So I just replied, "Thanks for watching." But I don't understand people like that. I really don't. It's all about just raw emotion on this channel. It always is and always will be. So yeah. Geordie Toon for Life says, Paul, he also said about Wilson that we miss his personality in training and in the dressing room. Yeah, the recorded one, I haven't watched it yet. I'm just going off what the Newcastle United Twitter account has put on with his comments, but I feel he would probably need to give a bit more. I mean, we miss his personality in training and in the dressing room. It gives the impression that all is not right. Well, maybe that's why he's not there, because he's not right in, you know, his headspace isn't right or whatever. And of course, we're just speculating here. Claire says, I just want the season over, but unfortunately, we have the Australian tour next week. It's bizarre, that one. It really is. I mean, I'm interested to see who goes to Australia. Whether they take the full squad or they leave a couple of players behind to recuperate, that will be interesting for me. Yeah, that match is Wednesday, so getting a plane Sunday night because of how long the flight is. Oh, it'll be awful. It'll be awful for them, the jet lag in particular. Rufia Benisian says, Callum Wilson has to go if something is going on. Get Jovic on a free and another young striker. What's your thoughts on Eddie saying performances have been good towards the end of the season, Paul? Well, again, I think he's very blinkered, isn't he? You know, we kind of look and think, what is he talking about with performances? I mean, this is what he had to say. I think we've had highlights and some good performances, but it's summed up by Wednesday, where I thought we played okay. The performance generally was good. We created chances and we looked a good team, but we aren't ruthless enough to take the game away from our opponent. For next year, we have to get that form right. That's a strange one. I don't know what he's looking at, to be honest. I have to say, I really don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. Performances have been good. Wednesday night was good. it was good when you made the substitutions, but he's talking about his players being ruthless. I think we need to see the manager being a bit ruthless as well with certain players, and we all know who those players are. So for me, I'm not sure. I don't quite understand why he said that. Okay, I think sometimes it's hard to put into words because Eddie's obviously looking at the game from his managerial point of view. And yes, we did create chances. Okay, on Wednesday night we did. But we don't have a cutting edge at the minute. And it was the same against Brighton. It's been the same in quite a few games this season where we get to the third part of the pitch and things just die away and it drifts away and we end up either losing the game or drawing the game or having to come back in the last few minutes. We're very reactive and not proactive. And I think, if there's any criticism of Eddie Howe, it's that he needs to be more proactive instead of reactive, because sometimes we'll find ourselves 1 or 2 goals down and then he makes the changes. We know what changes should have been made at half-time against Manchester United, but he tends not to make them. Paul, we do need to fix our defence this summer and buy a right forward, one of our star signings. Nothing wrong with your rants. I enjoy them. Dean says, I love this channel, but I think that you all are overcritical when scoring player ratings. There should be no 0 or 1 scores. By the same token, no 10s either. Well, Dean, let's be honest here. Match ratings are very much a personal preference, aren't they? Nobody's ever going to agree with match ratings for players. Nobody's ever going to agree. And given 0s and 1s, I think is fair enough. If they've deserved that, in our opinion, I mean, your opinion is we shouldn't be giving them that. That's fine. But we do, and some players genuinely have games where they are 0 or 1. And that has been the case a few times this season where some of the players haven't turned up. I agree on the 10s. To get a 10, you have to have a very special game. And especially if we lose, then I don't think anyone should really get a 10. But if somebody is outstanding, then they really do. And they stand above the rest of the players, then I generally do think that that's the case. You definitely don't rant for clicks and likes. Absolutely not. Crazy. Lady Sam's in the chat. I don't think Paul could maintain his amazing banter, opinions, and yes, rants as it wasn't real. Geez, give me a break. Keep on, Paul. TTR for life. She is really lovely. She banters me when she's on the screen, but she's got a heart of gold. Thank you, Sam. What price is the Ramsdale deal? Out close to Mamadashvili, and it's a no from me. Well, we don't know. All we know is what's been quoted in the media saying that Arsenal are looking for around, this price has been bantered around of 40 to 60 million pound, anywhere between there. And I think that's outrageous for Aaron Ramsdale. I really do. This is a goalkeeper who's lost his place in the Arsenal side, hasn't played now for a while. Are we genuinely saying that this guy is going to come in as number 1? It's a strange one. But he has been linked a lot this season. Whenever you look at goalkeeper replacements for Newcastle, Ramsdale's name is there constantly. But I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure. Mike says, we all have a rant about our football club. That's just the way it is. We only rant if we don't perform on match day. TTR tells it like it is for me. Thank you very much. Spot on, Lady Sam. Claire says, love the rants. It shows proper passion for the club. When people start destroying their studios, though, well, yeah. I mean, I haven't destroyed my studio, I have to say. I've maybe when Harvey Barnes scored that winner, I did throw my headset down and jump around the room like a nutcase. But that is pure passion. It's a last-minute winner in a game that we had no right coming back in. So, yeah. Becky says, rants equal passion. If someone doesn't perform, a 0 is fine. Billy's 0-10, -10 for Longstaff may have been a touch harsh, though. Yeah, just slightly. Ken says, I remember you ranting at the kitchen table. Yeah, exactly. I've been the same since I started this channel. Not a wannabe anything or clicks and likes. I just used to sit in front of my phone in the kitchen and rant away because back in them days, I was literally ranting to a couple of people, wasn't I? So I only had a couple of subscribers, about 10 views on me on my videos. So it wasn't for clicks and likes. I wasn't getting anybody watching. So it was just my way of venting my frustrations, what was going on at Newcastle. Jock says, Paul, I would take my money back. Mate, you speak the truth. No bullshit. And never once have you done a clickbait video, unlike some. Thank you very much. Away form was poor last season, but we still fought and got the draws. Yeah, look, I think if Eddie is the manager next season, and I sincerely hope he is, then I think that's something that he will address in the summer, because he will look back at this season and think, wow, there's been some poor away performances this season. He will be his own worst critic. We've seen how Eddie works. We've seen what he's like. He is very much... he will be sitting at home and he'll be thinking, well, that really wasn't good enough for me, or the team for that matter. What is happening with the away form? How do I turn that around? How do we play differently away from home? Case Ball, thank you for your super chat. Fingers crossed. Howe's last game. Blinkered loyalty has destroyed us this season. Hall and Tino would never have played unless there were injuries. Well, that's Case Ball's opinion, and we've seen a lot of them, guys. A lot of opinions, swaying yes, swaying no. There was a lot more on the fence when we did the poll last night on the show, on the fence with Eddie Howe. So I think he's still got he's got a way to go yet before I think he convinces a lot more people that he is the man. But I genuinely think he is. Eddie admitted he wasn't happy with the goals we were giving away over the season. Yeah, he's not happy with the goals we're giving away, but he keeps Dubravka in when he's got his number one goalkeeper sitting on his arse on the bench. It's mad. Paul, we've been shiting about 18 games this season. Rode our luck, but we've been amazing in about 8 games. Europe, we were bad. Apart from PSG, Cubs were shocking. Look, do I think... Look, we'll cover all this when we do the season review, obviously, and we go through our different bits and bobs with the player ratings for the season. There's one of our subscribers putting them all together from the season, so we're going to get like the average rating and what the season rating is overall from all the player ratings we've done since the start of the season. So really thank him for that, because that's going to come in very, very handy for the season review. Mason says, I think the Aussie trip is pointless, especially playing Tottenham. I don't... the timing of it is bizarre. That's what gets me. And I know it's about revenue and it's about pushing the club out and really giving Newcastle United that global brand that so many other clubs have. We've already got a global brand, but not as big as the clubs that are going to be around us in years to come. So, on the side of that, I understand, but it's just the timing. You're finishing the season on Sunday and you're straight on a plane to Australia and then playing on Wednesday. It's crazy, man. Anthony says there's Paul's ranting and then their uncontrolled violence and typical over-the-top male anger, which is what some other embarrassing channels do. John says maybe they know Pope's injury is likely to go again, so he may find himself number 2 next season. Well, we did state, obviously, when he got injured, right? When he got injured, this is the second time he's done this injury in his career. And it's taken him a long time to come back from. And Nick Pope is a very agile goalkeeper. And when you're playing in that position, you're diving around on a daily basis, remember, because there's training as well. Your body takes a pounding. It really does. And he's got to be super, super fit. But when something like that goes, you've always got the worry in your back of your mind. Is that going to go again? And I think maybe that's why they're looking at another goalkeeper, because they're not 100% sure that Nick Pope can stay fit with that injury. It would answer questions, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Right. Eddie Howe and Anthony Gordon. He went on to say, we will wait and see how he is today. I'm not 100% sure as I sit here now exactly how he is. Certainly that tackle left a mark on him. Now, we've heard this many, many times from Eddie in a press conference saying, we wait and see. I'm not sure how he is. Why doesn't he know how he is? I mean, I think Eddie does know how he is. He's got to know how he is. He's manager of the football club. And if there's any doubts over Anthony Gordon, Eddie Howe will know. Just come out and say, we're not sure if he's going to be able to play on Sunday. It's a bad tackle that's left a mark on him. Fair enough. But when he keeps coming out with, I'm not 100% sure because, I'm not sure how he is. And this is what I'm talking about the medical department. What is the communication between that department and the coaching staff? Because at the minute, the answers that we get in these press conferences, it's very much a moot point because nobody seems to bloody know from one department to the other. It's a weird one for me, and it's a weird answer to give because I think he does know how he is. But obviously, we know he'll be playing a little bit of poker with the Brentford lot. You know, is Anthony Gordon playing? Is he not? He's a big player for Newcastle, massive player for Newcastle. So if he's not available, that's a bonus for Brentford. But I also think at times when he gives these answers, you kind of think, Eddie, you do know, man. Just tell us. Claire says it's going to be a damp squib if we finish 8th, then have to go straight to Australia. It has to be linked to this money we are short of FFP-wise. There'll be a financial bonus for it, definitely. Eddie stands on the touchline watching that crap thinking, Christ, I've got another 60 minutes before I can make changes. Well said, Paul. If you don't turn up, it's a 5 and 1 mark 1 of every bad thing they do in that match. Yeah. What we are is honest in our player ratings. Dean says, I agree, Paul. Everyone entitled to opinions, just a small modicum of perspective. I know we all want the team to do well, just different opinions. And that's all it is, Dean, different opinions. But it's how you communicate those opinions. You know, we get some people coming on here saying, oh, your opinion's a load of shit and fire all sorts of personal insults at you instead of being an adult and having a conversation like you've just done, Dean. You know, exactly. Perfect comment. We all want the team to do well, but we'll all have different opinions. Of course we will. We don't have to agree with each other on a daily basis. What's the point? If you all agreed with each other, what would be the point of doing anything in life? Julie says, wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal use Ramsdale for leverage if they do try and sign Isak. It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Foxy says, let's give Arsenal 40 to 60 million to help them get even better for a keeper that's admitted he has concentration issues. Awful. Exactly, Foxy. And I remember when Ramsdale said that, you know, he did say that sometimes he suffers from concentration issues. Dubravka's the same, except Dubravka's positioning is terrible as well. And his decision-making is terrible. So it's a weird one, the Ramsdale situation. I mean, it really is. It really is. Paul hasn't destroyed his studio yet. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. And long may that continue. Claire says, it concerns me, the Arsenal links with how much they want Isak, but apparently they are in the running for Sesko. I've heard that as well. Look, this is what we have to expect, guys, is just that whatever players we're linked with, there will be other big teams linked with them as well. That's just where we are now as a football club. Newcastle United, we want to be with that elite crowd. We are going to have to fight with the elite crowd to bring players in, and that's just the name of the game now. We can't sit on our laurels and go, you know, we'll just bring a couple of frees in. Yeah, bring a couple of frees in, improve the squad, absolutely, but we need the marquee signings as well. If we don't get marquee signings, I think we're in trouble. Black Cure says, your rants are far better than in the Steve Bruce days. That guy used to get under your skin. Not just my skin, matey, a lot of people's skins. He really did test the blood pressure. There's no doubt about that. Incredibly tested the blood pressure. Trafford or Ramsdale, it would be Trafford for me because he would be the natural replacement. He can come in and work under Nick Pope for a season or two and then take over the mantle. Yeah, he's still a young guy, and I think Trafford would be the better option than Ramsdale. Remembering Bournemouth away, Luton away, they were awful. Last few games, things haven't went our way. Many chances created. I like Eddie's post-match interview. Just my opinion. One more season for Howe is very fair. Hopefully he has a season with his actual squad. Imagine what we can achieve. Top 4 would seem very achievable for me. It's a good point, Jack, actually. A very good point, because if you look at everybody who is wanting Eddie Howe out, right? They're the same people that have turned around and said, if we didn't have our injuries, we'd have finished 4. We'd have finished in the top 4. So you can't have it both ways. Now, I do sit here and I criticize Eddie Howe if I think he deserves criticism, right? But I'll say a million times to the moon and back that I don't want him sacked. I want him to stop making mistakes. But I still think Eddie Howe can become a legend at this football club and win us a trophy. I really genuinely believe that. But these people who were screaming for Eddie out are also the same people that are saying, oh, if we didn't have the injuries, we'd be in the top 4. Well, Isn't that to do with the manager as well? You're not going to finish in the top 4 and want Eddie Howe sacked, are you? Very strange. Very strange. In my opinion, one of the managers will be finishing 6th, 7th, 8th in the league with Almiron, Longstaff, and not much centre-back depth. Give him one more year with a better squad. Yeah. Tristan, I think the defence coach is struggling with the face. We don't have our defenders in it. Fubar says, anyone that thinks how it should go, watch the overlap interview. The guy lives and breathes football. If he doesn't improve next season, then show him the door. But I'm sure he will learn and improve. It's been a big season, this, for everybody. Not just Eddie Howe, but I think the players as well. And the fans. Us as fans went into this season thinking, wow, we finished in a Champions League spot. We're going into the Champions League this season. And we're going to challenge for everything. A lot of fans, including myself, let's be honest, if we're honest with each other, we kind of went a little bit over the top with where we were, didn't we? We really did. We thought we were going to do a lot better because of where we finished. But maybe, as the owners have said all along, it's a slow but steady progress. And I think finishing in the Champions League was kind of a shock to everybody. And the expectations then went tenfold instead of just slowly expecting a little bit better season on season. But the way it went last season, it went mental. And, everyone got carried away. We got carried away. We were looking forward to, getting through the Champions League groups. And we thought, we've got a wonderful squad. And then, of course, all the injuries hit and it goes absolutely, tits up. Tangy says the more decent quality free signings we get, the better, because the squad needs depth and a major overhaul. Peter, good afternoon, says, believe Gordon will be fine for Sunday. I think he'll play. I don't think Gordon will want to miss the last game of the season. Mason says apparently his agents are speaking to Man United. Yeah, that's talking about Sesko and stuff like that. And Tosan, to be honest, both of them. It's a very... But listen, Man United, I don't think have any pulling power at the minute until they see where they finish at the end of the season, because it's Manchester United that might miss out on Europe. Or do they get into Europe if they lose the cup final anyway? I don't know how it works. But, they're a shit show. And they were a shit show on Wednesday. And I still can't believe we lost that game. It still hurts, guys, to be honest, that we lost that game. It really does sting. Claire says, how confuses me. He says we need to buy players before they hit their prime and the price skyrockets. But all we ever seem to go for is overpriced English Premier League players. Well, I mean, look, we've brought Isak in, haven't we? We've brought Bruno in. We've brought Botman in. They're not really overpriced, I wouldn't say, Claire. But I do get your point. If we wait too long, then the players are going to skyrocket in price. I mean, if you looked at Ramsdale's valuation now, if that was a European player or a worldwide player, you're not getting quoted 40, 60 million for that player. Never in a million years. It's just the fact he's English, obviously. He's an international. Not for me. Seacrest Boxes, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Too much fuss about the Oz trip. I've done that journey with extra flights from Oz to New Zealand and back, then got home and driven to Belfast the next day, and I was cattle class. Jet lag and all that. Well, listen, what we forget to put into this is that the players are very well looked after on these trips, guys. I mean, the flights will be first class. They will be sitting in absolute luxury. They will get plenty rest on the flight. So I think we do have to add that into the equation as well. They will be very much looked after, catered for all the way. As Seacrest puts it there, they're not in cattle class. They will be served upon for the whole flight. They've got lovely beds and they'll get plenty rest on the flight. So maybe that is a good point. But it's still a long way to go 3 days after you finish the season. Play 3 days after the season finishes, but actually traveling on the same night that your season finishes. I think that's a bit off for me. Jack says, as much as we hate it, managers won't always say which players are fit or unfit. I'd rather he didn't say, because I don't want the opposition knowing. I'm happy to wait for the weekend to find out. Well, it always creates talking points, doesn't it? Whichever way you look at it, Eddie Howe always creates talking points with his team, with his lineups. As soon as they come out an hour before the game, it's it's baffling sometimes. It really is. I mean, I remember when Rafa was in charge, right? And we used to sit there thinking it's pointless doing a team prediction because Rafa would always tinker with the team. It's very rare that Rafa would play the same 11. And you look at this now and you think, Eddie Howe's the same. You don't know what he's going to play. You know, is he going to play with the same trusted players, or is he going to, you know, take a chance and make a change? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, he went on to talk about Lewis Hall finally, and he says, I think for any player, when you come to a new club, it's natural there's going to be a settling in period. He's done really well to commit and continue to commit and have consistency in his work, even when no doubt he was frustrated that things weren't happening quicker than he'd wanted. He did really well at Old Trafford and showed a lot of maturity. I'm delighted with where his game is at. Now, I think this is where we can give Eddie Howe a bit of credit, because we know that, you know, he's kept Lewis Hall out for a while, and he's got his reasons. And the fact that Lewis Hall came out and said exactly the same reasons, and that you know, he fully understands the situation with his manager, that says a lot to me about where Lewis Hall is maturity-wise as well. Ian Fleming, thank you for your super chat. Mason was talking about Tuchel coming in, Paul, as he is leaving Bayern. All right, okay, thank you. Lewis Hall, for me, is a very mature kid. Certainly when he's come on in substitute appearances, he's done really well. And now, where he's at now, I think he's going to be our left back for years to come. I genuinely believe that. I mean, if you can't watch Lewis Hall and think that, Jesus, this kid is such a talent, then I'm sorry, you're either blind or you've got blinkers on or you're not watching. He is going to be our left back for years to come. And the fact that Eddie's brought him in very, very slowly, made sure he's up to speed, make sure he knows what Eddie wants from him. Lewis Hall even said that. You know, it was difficult when he came to the club. Very difficult. But it's a slow process sometimes. And we as fans, we have to be patient. And I'm so glad that Lewis Hall has now come in and stayed at this place. The problem I've got is what a lot of other people have said, is would Tino or Lewis Hall be around if the injuries hadn't happened? You know, would we still be persistent with Dan Burn at left back? Kieran Trippier, on the back end of his career, has not looked the same player for quite some time now. Whether that be, you know, off-pitch problems or fitness-wise. You know, he hasn't. And I love Trippier, but his experience and captaincy is massive for Newcastle United. But everything has to change eventually, doesn't it? You know, players leave, players get older. It's just football. Susan says, after 5-1 at Villa, I thought we were on to win the league. Susan, I can't disagree with you there, because I came out to St. James's Park after that game absolutely buzzing, thinking this is incredible. You know, we are winning the lot. Nobody's going to touch this Newcastle United side this season. Absolutely no chance. We are going to fly through everything. And yeah, it didn't go that way. You know, injuries started creeping in, performances kept creeping in, and things took a turn for the worse. But I think that was because our expectations were through the roof when the season started. And of course, beating Villa 5-1 didn't help those expectations come down at all. They went higher, if anything else. And then we became expecting that Newcastle would take to the pitch every game and win, and just march up the league, finish top, win the cups. And, you know, Amanda's statement a couple of months, whenever she made it, about Newcastle winning everything, we thought, wow, this is happening now. And yeah, very naive, I think, us fans sometimes. We are over the top as fans, but we're passionate about Newcastle United. And that is what being a fan is all about, guys. It's giving you, it's having that passion. It's wanting your club to win. It's being disappointed when we lose. And yeah, some people can go way over the top when we lose, me included. But that's just because of the passion we have for Newcastle United. That will never, ever change at all. Ronald says, Howe said he doesn't want the break because he misses his daily football stuff earlier, so he's dedicated to the job. Well, Howe will not stop over the summer. Howe will want to put things right. And we know what Eddie's work ethic is like. We spoke about it before. I think he's got another season. I do. Generally do. And I'd be gutted if Newcastle sort of sacked Eddie Howe in the summer. I think a lot of fans would. Eddie deserves another season, but if it's the same as this one, I can't continue to support him. Thanks for listening on your lunch break, Susan. Much appreciated. This is the point, right? You know, if next season comes around, I cannot in a million years see us having the same injury problems that we've got this season, right? You couldn't write a script for it, what's happened with the injuries. So if he's got yes, clubs get injuries also, you know, through the season. We do pick up injuries, but not as bad as it's been. So if he's got near enough a strong squad every game next season, let's just see what happens. If he keeps making the same mistakes, then yes, I think questions have to be asked, without a doubt. If he keeps on sort of, I just want to see a ruthless side, I think, from my point of view as a fan. I just want to see him a bit more ruthless with the players. You know, if some players aren't performing, get them off the pitch. You know, don't take any prisoners at all. Just get them off the pitch and let them know where you stand as a manager. You don't have to be, you know, nasty about it. If they come off the pitch and they're all sulking, then that's up to the player to book their ideas up and realise that they're being pulled because they're shit or they're playing shit. If they're playing well, they won't come off the pitch. So there's a bit of sort of you've got to have an understanding, and Fergie demanded that understanding. I know not many managers are like Fergie. He's a one-off and things like that, but Pep's doing the same. You know, he's a ruthless manager, but also will back his players 100% as well. You've got to have that little bit of to and fro. We'll go through a few more comments before the end of the show. Garant says, how will keep his job only by what the owners really feel behind closed doors. We may be ahead of a plan for them or not. Time will tell. Jason says he can have another year, but I don't think we'll win anything with him, especially if we finish out of Europe. Prove me wrong, Eddie. Well, look, Eddie will want to prove himself wrong for a start, right? Eddie will want to go out there next season and prove himself. He will want to prove that he can win trophies, and he can make his way up to that elite manager level. Eddie Howe is not an elite manager yet. There's no doubt about that. There's only a handful of managers across the world you can call elite, because you know you have to win things. You have to really get that respect, and I think he's well respected around the football world. However, to get to the elite level, you've got to be ruthless as well, though. Well, Sam's obviously just come back from Canada talking about jet lag, and you know, going into a professional level football match after a long flight is difficult. That's the only problem I've got with it is the timing. I think the timing, it's all rushed, isn't it? You know, flying off on Sunday night after the game all the way to Australia. You've then got a game on Wednesday night. It's like a whirlwind, and it's very, very difficult, especially after a long season. It's the timing of it I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with us going to Australia because we've got a lot of Australian support. You know, there's a lot of Australian subscribers to this channel, and we love them all. And it's great that they're going to be able to get the chance to see Newcastle, or some of them get the chance to see Newcastle United in the flesh. But the timing of it is very strange. Michael says, I have a horrible feeling it will be same old next season. And God forbid, I see Longstaff still operating our midfield as a starter. If that happens, then I will ask serious questions of Eddie Howe. I think everybody will. Jesus, that's a scary thought. Uncle Buzz Cox says, Pope's being sold if we get Ramsdale. I could see Dubravka being the number 2, hence Eddie playing him over Pope. Wilson's definitely away as well. Illness is a convenient cover, in my opinion. I don't think Dubravka's going to hang around and be number 2. For some reason, listening to what the media is saying about where Dubravka sees himself, he sees himself as a number 1. No matter what we as fans think, he thinks he's good enough to be a number 1 somewhere. Well, let him go. I don't think we need an unhappy Dubravka in the dressing room next season. It just wouldn't work for me. Hall is also very physical. He held his own against Everton. Foxy says, if we bring a new keeper in, it has to be better than Pope. Bento is a perfect choice. Will also help Bruno stay longer. Well, Mamadashvili is the one that I think should come in, but that's just me. I love Mamadashvili. I think he's a tremendous goalkeeper. Claire says, been given 5 hard games at the start of the season, knocked our confidence. It was a tough start. Yeah, it really was. But the thing is, if we want to be that elite team, guys, we are going to have to face those kind of opposition and not take it like, oh, it's too hard, this. You know, these games are going to come up every single season and we've got to be ready for them. And obviously, Tonali's ban was a massive blow as well. I would have loved Tonali. I can't wait to see Tonali back actually next season. Susan says it could be the Stars that Bournemouth of all teams beat Chelsea. Off back to work. Next season will be better, I'm sure. Thanks, Susan. Hopefully you'll join us for the preview show tonight. Enjoy your afternoon at work. I mean, Bournemouth could do us a big favour, couldn't they? And I guess the fans who still love Eddie Howe would probably love us to get success under Eddie Howe. So, yeah, that would be nice. Come on, Bournemouth. I think we've got a couple of Bournemouth fans subscribe to this channel, so give them an extra shout. Laura says, if Eddie stays, it's another season of this. Going to be a disappointing window. Who's going to come? We won't pay the higher wages, and we have no European football to offer. Well, let's see where we finish, Laura, because I agree, if we don't get Europe, then a certain caliber of player will not want to come to Newcastle United. That is pretty damn nailed on. You have to be in Europe. It doesn't matter what European competition. If you're in the Conference League or the Europa League, you're still going to get a better class of player than what you would when you're not in that league, because every player wants to play in Europe and be part of that, competition. We've seen how, it's the fans get so passionate overseas about European football. It doesn't matter if they're in the Conference League or Europa League. And we've got I genuinely think that we've, and I say we as a football community, a bit of a snobby atmosphere, a snobby attitude to the Conference League or the Europa League that maybe other clubs in Europe don't have. You see how passionate the fans get. And maybe the clubs over here just a little bit snobby towards it because, of course, the Champions League is the be-all and end-all. And I know that's where the money is, but you can still get European success in the Europa League or the Conference League. It's pretty simple. Wacky says there will definitely be more injuries first half of next season with a lack of break in off-season with Oz and the Euros, then pre-season, especially with the pressing high-energy tactics. Well, that's down to the manager to make sure he manages that situation as well as he can. And let's hope. Tristan says, imagine, Paul, you hire a top manager. Players will come to you if you don't have Europe. That's a fact. Chelsea, Poch was the draw. Yes, you can still get them, Tristan. There's no doubt about it. But I think it does help being in Europe competition. Chelsea, let's be fair, had the money to throw around. And when you're offering that kind of money to players, then Chelsea will build. But I think a lot of that was based on a lot of money that we can't spend because of sodden FFP and PSR and all that garbage. So, yeah, it's a different story maybe for Chelsea. But there you go, guys. That is the press conference review done and dusted. We are back again at 7 p.m. tonight, live with the preview of the Brentford game. So join me, Sam, Alex, and Billy for that one. And of course, we'll be doing our score predictions, team lineup predictions, etc., and seeing where we go. Should we win or should we lose? But it's going to be a very interesting weekend. But it starts with a preview tonight at 7, and then match day live will be 3:30 start on Sunday for a 4 o'clock kickoff. It is going to be absolutely brilliant and very exciting. We've still got something to play for. But hopefully it looks like the sun's getting out for the rest of the day, guys. So go and enjoy it or enjoy your afternoon at work. And we will see you all at 7 again tonight. Thank you for your super chats, memberships, mods. Thank you very much. And to you guys, you've been phenomenal again. Great conversation this lunchtime. And we will see you tonight. Take care.
Come back and check out some green.